Hey, what's up, all fellow seam heads out there? Welcome to another episode of the Extra Innings. It's been a few weeks. The last time we were here was as a season preview. So now we are our third week into this? Yeah, we're 3 weeks into the season, right, Dave?
Week 3, that's correct.
Yeah, so we're week 3. Some surprises out there. I don't think anybody necessarily thought that the Kansas City Royals, would be off to an 11-6 start, 8-2 in their last 10. Or
how about them Royals?
how about them Royals? Yeah, and how about their catcher Perez?
Yes.
It's like he's sipped on the fountain of youth. I mean, my man's hitting 339 with 4 homers and 15 RBIs. I mean, he's doing. And Bobby Witt Jr., man, I mean, he was becoming a star last year, but he's showing himself to be one of the great young stars of this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're playing a Kansas City team, a Chicago White Sox team right now, who's on a 15-game losing streak. I don't know, so I kind of like the Royals' chances, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, what's the saying? The White Sox are definitely due.
That's for sure. You got that right.
Yeah, so got a lot of stories to get into. We got myself, Joe Sullivan, and I got my partner, Mr. Dave Yarnell, aka the Showstopper. What's up, Dave? How are you?
Joe, man, I'm doing just fine, man. How are you been? How's things going with you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'll tell you what, I'd be doing a little better if the Phillies lineup would start hitting a little bit more like these guys. I got Canseco and McGuire back in the day. You know what I mean? The Phillies lineup is really struggling right now. Yeah,
they're. It's amazing to me. Like but the pitching's been good though, Joe. Honestly, I think the pitching's been pretty solid. I mean, Noel was pretty solid yesterday. I think he pitched pretty well.
He did, yeah. I mean, Nola pitched well. The pitching's carrying that team, so we'll get into some of these divisions here. I mean, the Phillies pitching's been carrying them, and to touch on the NL East, because we'll start getting into some of these divisions. But you got the Atlanta Braves 10-5, but one of the stories of this year so far has been some injuries, and Atlanta Braves with a major injury coming out the chute. Cy Young candidate Spencer Strider. Needing Tommy John surgery. My man's going to be out for the year.
Yeah, that's a big loss for them, Joe. That he is their ace of the staff too, and that's going to hurt them a little bit more. And I just heard they have another injury too. Ozzie Albies got hurt too, or fractured his toe. He's out for 10 days, I think, or it's a 10-day list, or that's what they said. But yeah, I mean, but it's funny Joe, how the Braves are losing guys, but yet they still keep winning. It's amazing.
They're just a well-run organization. They got a lot of depth, and the one thing I would caution Phillies fans on, because I know a lot of Phillies fans out here, are thinking that with Strider being out, the Phillies can win the NL East, and they can, yes. But the bottom line is, if you remember in 2021, the Braves won the World Series without their best player. They won the World Series with Acuna hurt.
That's true. Good point. I was just talking to a friend of mine. He told me that. He was just telling me that not too long, like 10 minutes ago. He was telling me the same story. But the Braves, I'll tell you, they just find ways to win. They're just that good of a team. Their lineup, even without Ozzie Albies, is still decent. So, good teams find ways to win, Joe. That's how it works. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Braves last year. They had Acuna and Matt Olson were both. You could have given either of them the MVP.
Yeah, well, Matt Olson, of course. I mean, he had a great year last year. My God,
Matt Olson hit over 50 bombs. What do you had, like 54 homers? Something like that?
I think it was 54. Yeah, it sounds about right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but yeah, no, so that's one storyline. I'll tell you another storyline before we get into the divisions is Mike, a guy that's really playing some good baseball is Mike Trout. Mike Trout, I'm looking at the leaders here. Mike Trout with, hang on, where are we at here? I'm looking here. Mike Trout has 7 home runs already.
You know what? It's amazing. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, he's getting older. He's not as good as he used to be." You know what? He's still Mike Trout at the end of the day, and he can still play ball. We all know that.
Right, but the one thing about him is He's off to a great start, and we'll give him his props. And obviously, when he plays, he's extremely effective, extremely well. But let's. I guess we have to caution. Is he going to be on the lineup? Say June, July, August. You know what I mean?
Well, him losing Otani is a big thing too, Joe. Because you remember he's the. I mean, he was the star before Otani got there, but still in all, I mean, he's back to being the star again because Otani's not there anymore. So.
Yeah, well, I wonder if Otani would bet on Mike Trout staying healthy.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me, Joe.
What do you think? You know what I mean? Would Otani bet on Trout over under Trout's home runs?
I think his interpreter might have something to say about that. I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
and tell you another storyline. Young players. I got a list here.
Okay.
'Cause one thing we always like to do on this show is, obviously, of course we have the stars like the Mike Trouts and the Aaron Judges, which by the way, the Yankees playing good ball. One thing that really surprised me, the Yankees, unlike in past years where Aaron Judge was pretty much the whole one of the main reasons why they were winning, Aaron Judge is only hitting 194 right now, yet the Yankees are 12-5.
Oh, yeah, it happens. They're picking him up. He's not. It's the Yankees, Joe. What do you expect? I mean, they're a good team, and teams find ways to win, even if their top star is not doing much. You know that.
Yeah, well, that lineup, between him, you got Judge, you got Soto, and Garrett Cole's out right now. But I'll tell you what, if they get if Cole comes back healthy, between him and Cortez and the bullpen and the lineup, I really like what the Orioles have, and I think but I think that I think you're going to see a hell of a race between the Yankees and the Orioles, and
I think the whole AL East, Joe, race is actually pretty interesting at this point in time because everybody over the AL East is over 500, so who knows? I mean, I know it's early, but still. Yeah,
and ironically, that was kind of a storyline of last year. I mean, last year we were saying how the AL East had 5 good teams in it. Boston kind of went away in the end.
Yeah, they died in the end. Yeah,
and then I was shitting all over the AL Central, and right now, I know it's early. But the AL Central, Guardians 11-5. They're 8-2 in their last, or I'm sorry, they're 7-3 in their last 10, and the Royals 11-6, and even the Tigers. I kind of like the Tigers coming into this year, but the Tigers at 9-7. That's one of the best starts they've had in a really long time.
This is true, and actually Minnesota at 6-9 right now. But they could make a run. Who knows? But what's up with the White Sox, Joe? 15 in a row? Come on, something ain't right.
Yeah, the days of Ozzie Guillen and Frank Thomas and remember they used to have remember they used to call Frank Thomas, what was it, the Big Hurt? Was it the Big Hurt? Right?
Yep, the Big Hurt. That's correct.
And didn't they have wasn't there a commercial where they said the train was coming and it was like Frank Thomas charging going to home?
Yes. Yep. I do remember that. I do.
Okay, well, the only thing being hit by a train right now is White Sox fans because their team fucking blows.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I really am. Well, they lost what's his name to their first baseman like a couple years ago. I can't think of his name right now, but it'll come. No, he actually was a bad player, but
yeah, he went to the Astros.
Yes, that is correct. Yes,
I'm drawing a blank too.
I'm drawing a blank on his name off the top of my head, but I know he was one of their better players.
Yeah, we got a comment here. Eileen C. Hi guys. Hi Eileen. How you doing?
Eileen, we're back. Thanks for showing up.
I know Eileen's happy about the Yankees start.
Oh, of course, big Yankee fan. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, got to get Judge go. I think Judge will get going. Like right now, Judge 194, 62 at bats, 17 Ks. He's got 3 homers, 9 RBIs. But you know what though? You look at the back of his baseball card. By the time this year ends, he should have at least 45 home runs. I would think.
I was going to say at least 40 to 45. He might even have 50. Who knows? He might go off in April, end of April, May and June. So. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. A guy like him could hit like, he could hit like 30 homers in like 2.5 months. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
That's how good he is. That's correct. Well,
And
Yankees are just good.
one other Yankees note. I know, Dave, you were telling me about a longtime Yankees announcer today.
Yes, I was. I have it actually right here in my notes. John Sterling, a big Yankees announcer, is actually announcing his retirement. I was very surprised to hear that.
Yeah, apparently 35 years as the
Yeah.
Yankees radio voice. So I mean, he's
Mhm.
and I know one thing because I used sometimes if I was driving up in that area, I had a Yankees game on. He was like a king of Nick. He loved nicknames. That guy.
Yep.
He'd be like, oh, it's a Stantonian blast, or something like that,
It's funny. I heard Eileen say something about it the other day. She was talking about John Sterling passed away, and Paul goes, "Who? Like, how do you not know John Sterling? He's been there for 35 years."
Yeah, he used to say a lot of an A bomb for A-Rod.
Yes, that was his thing. Yep.
Always,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So best wishes to John Sterling. He had a illustrious career. I guess he was kind of like their equivalent to well, I don't want to say equivalent, but like kind of like a Harry Kalas type.
He was their Harry Kalas, yes.
Yeah, he was like a Harry Kalas type of figure in New York.
But we did have a historical day yesterday in baseball history, John.
What was it? The Jackie Robinson Day,
Jackie
right?
Robinson Day. That is correct. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw. Yeah, I always know that's right around this time of year. And then yesterday when I watched the Phillies, I saw it. Obviously, with everybody with the number 42. You saw it was Jackie Robinson Day. So
it's so funny. Like you see these players wearing number 42, you're like, and you get confused. You're like, wait a minute, that's not his number. And then you think, oh yeah, it's Jackie Robinson Day. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
what a great player he was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know who the last player to wear number 42 was? Speaking of great players,
off the top of my head, no.
Mariano Rivera.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Good call. Good call.
He was grandfathered in because I think he was wearing it before they came up with the day.
Gotcha. I forgot about Barry. Yep. Best closer of the game, Joe. Best
closer of all time.
Of all time, yeah, exactly. Yep.
I mean, for my money, I don't know. I know you had guys like Eckersley and Goose Gossage and Lee Arthur Smith. There, a lot of guys out there. Trevor Hoffman,
Yep.
Name a few. But yeah, for my money, I mean Mariano. I mean that pitch he had. I mean, you couldn't even touch that.
Would you put Billy Wagner in that category, Joe?
Billy Wagner was good, but I wouldn't put him up there with those guys.
Okay. What about Tugger?
Tugger was a little before my time, and the one thing though, Tugger was a little. I mean, if you remember back then, like relievers would pitch like 2-3 innings.
Yeah, it's true. Right.
The game became a lot more specialized in like the mid to late 80s. You started having guys just strictly coming in for the ninth, pretty much.
Well, the Mets had Jesse Orosco all those years too. He was pretty good.
Yeah, Jesse Orosco and Roger McDowell.
Roger McDowell. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, Roscoe's the one that closed out the '86 series.
That's true. Yep.
And then the Phillies. Didn't
the Phillies pick up McDowell at one point? Oh God.
McDowell was actually in the Lenny Dykstra trade.
Oh, that's right. Good point.
It was Roger McDowell and Lenny Dykstra for Juan Samuel.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, in fact, that was one of the trades. After the '86 series, the Mets were still really good for a few years, and then in '89 they traded Dykstra. They got Samuel, and that wound up really backfiring on them. Like Samuel,
right? I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. But hey, so speaking of successful, how about if we get into some of these standings here?
Yes, let's do it. I'm down on that.
All right. Well, let me just pop this up here. So I have our power rankings here.
Okay.
So I have shoot. I don't know. I can't see number one.
Yeah, where's number one?
Hang on, I'll see if I can get it. Well, I have the you know what? I have the Yankees number one. So I have the Yankees
Okay.
number one, Dodgers number two, Atlanta 3, Milwaukee 4, Orioles 5, 6. Who the hell did I have 6? Hang on, I'm going to look it up. Yeah, it's the guy. Who's that? I'm having a hard time seeing that. Can you
Yeah, it's
see it?
tough. No, I can see a little bit of it.
Guardians are 7, Cubs are 8,
Um,
Kansas City 9, and Texas 10.
yeah, you have Guardians at 7, Chicago 8, Kansas City 9, Texas 10. Yep.
Hang on, I'll find 6 here. Let's see here.
Your 6 is I can't see that. I see the 7. I don't see the 6.
Pirates is 6.
Pirates. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, well, the Pirates. Last year the Pirates started off really good too, and then they kind of went in the tank. But hey, early season Pirates, and I'll tell you another thing about the Pirates. The Pirates have some really good young pitching. They have some good young talent, some good pitching, and one guy in particular, because I wanted to. Well, actually, let's go over your power rank. Let's see.
I have number 1. I have the Dodgers at 1.
Okay.
I have the Braves at 2. I had Yankees 3, Brewers 4, Orioles 5, Rangers 6, Kansas City Royals 7, which is throwing me off. Pittsburgh Pirates 8, Phillies 9. I have Cleveland Guardians at 10.
Gotcha. And full disclosure, I would have had Phillies I would have had Phillies and Astros in top 10. I just went strictly from mine wasn't really based on what I think's going to happen. It was kind of just based on what's happened so far. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, I know the Royals and the Pirates are off to good starts, but I don't think there's any way when this season goes on that they're going to be in the top 10. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, like I said, it's only 16 games, 17 games in the season, Joe. I mean, I think it's still very early. But I think the Kansas City Royals are a surprise team. I am just shocked that they're 11-6 right now.
Yeah, I just question whether they have enough pitching to go the distance. You know what I mean?
This is true. I hear you there.
So, but anyway, but we were like I said, looking at this top 10, wanted to get at some of these young players are the reason why. And one guy in particular, Pittsburgh Pirates have a young guy by the name of Jared Jones, a starting pitcher. He's pitched 3 games. 3 games, he's 1-2. He's got a 4.0 ERA, 25 Ks and 18 innings pitched. So
he just pitched against the Phillies the other night, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the Brewers are playing well. They have one of the top prospects in all baseball. They have right fielder Jackson Churio.
Okay.
He's played 11. He's only hitting 244, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, but he's starting out. And I'll tell you another young guy that's really killing it for the Orioles is outfielder Colton Cowser. He made. I'll tell you in particular, he made a couple really good catches up in Boston last week, and he's played 10 games. He's hitting 481, 13 hits and 24 plate appearances, 3 homers, 12 RBIs.
There you go. Kid's killing it.
Yeah, so there's three guys in particular. And in the Cubs, we have to see how we have the Cubs up there, or I have the Cubs. You don't have the Cubs?
I don't have the Cubs in there. No, I don't.
All right. Well, I have the Cubs, and I got 2 young guys for the Cubs that are playing extremely well. First baseman DH Michael Bush.
Okay.
He's got 12 hits, 48 at bats, 293, 3 homers, 8 RBIs. And then a pitcher. They have a pitcher, starting pitcher, Shote Imit. I can't even say his name. Imanja.
Yeah.
Imanja. I don't know what.
I think it's Imanja. Yeah, that sounds right.
All right. Well, Imanja. Well, you know what? Well, somebody needs to get an Imanja. Try.
Or Manja. Maybe it's Imanja. Is that right?
I don't know, but you know what though? When these guys go up to bat, Dave, they're imagining getting a hit, and it just ain't happening because he's got 2 games started. He's 1-0, a 0 ERA, a .40 WHIP, no walks, 19 strikeouts, and 10 innings pitched. So this guy.
Well, this kid Bush has five consecutive games as a home run.
Yeah, so he's playing extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just some of the young guys. And then real quick, I know the Dodgers are in first place. Yamamoto hasn't really. He's not really necessarily struggled, but it's taken him a little bit to get his way. Yamamoto's got 4 games started. He's 1-1, a 4.50. He's got 20, but only 4 walks in 16 innings pitched, 21 Ks. So
Gotcha.
He's got the stuff. You know what I mean?
Going back to Chicago, Sully, don't forget about that kid, Chris Morrell. That kid's a player. Watch him.
Okay.
I'm just saying he had a 3-run bomb the other day. The kid's just a little slow start, but you watch. He's pretty good too. He's a pretty good player.
Well, and like we always say, I mean, we came into this, you come into the season thinking a certain thing, when you make, we make these predictions, and what's the one thing that can change predictions is young guys stepping up and coming out of nowhere or playing well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it happens all the time. You know that. Yeah,
the team I think of when I think of young talents, the Orioles. Like I mentioned, Colton Cowser. One of the other big stories is they brought up number 1 prospect Jackson Holiday came up.
Yep.
He's struggling so far. He's only hitting .053. He's got 1 hit, 19 at bats, 1 RBI, and he scored 3 runs. But by most accounts, most people think this kid's going to rake.
But it's so funny because I was watching the other, I guess maybe it was a week ago or something, and the Orioles were like kind of low on the low totem pole. I'm like, what's wrong with Baltimore? All of a sudden, now they're in second place. They're back where they're showing what they're about now.
Well, they just have so much talent.
There's so much talent on this team. Yeah, exactly.
They I think we talked about it last year. There was one of the baseball writers wrote an article kind of comparing them to the Astros of circa 2015, 2016, right before the Astros started winning. Like the Astros won their first World Series in 2017. Mm-hmm. And you remember how they were kind of on the come?
Yep.
You had guys like Altuve, which by the way, Altuve's hitting .403 so far. He leads the league in hitting.
Does he ever stop, Joe? My God, Jose Altuve, the guy doesn't. He's a machine. I mean, that's all he does is hit.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, either that or they found another way to bang on trash cans.
Yeah, this is true.
He is a great player.
Wait a minute. But as well as Altuve is hitting, Joe, the Astros, what's going on with them? I don't understand.
Well, you know what? It's early. It's early, bro.
I mean, 6-12, Joe. What? The Astros? I'm very surprised about that.
Yeah, you know what? I have a rule in baseball, and unless you're really buried, I don't really panic until it gets,
Yeah, it's only April. I get it.
To me, the first mile marker is around Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not buried by Memorial Day, if you're somewhat in, say you get off to a shitty start, as long as you're 4 or 5 games out of either a wild card or division or whatever, you got ample time. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny. I mean, you look at the division, though. I mean, they're still 3 games. They're only 3 games out of first. It's not like they're out of it by any stretch. But sitting at 6-12, to me, the Astros, that's very rare to see that, Joe. I mean, come on.
It is, but it kind of makes you. And again, like we said, it is early, but
yes,
when you talk about a quote unquote war of attrition, right? Mm-hmm. Well, has any baseball team played more games in the last 7-8 years than the Houston Astros?
This is true. I don't think so.
So it was, and then you look, I know they have Framber Valdez, and some pitchers are relatively young, but a guy like Verlander, I mean, he's been around for 100 million years.
That long, huh, Joe? Nah, Verlander. We don't see Verlander start to step up until September, Joe. You know that.
I think you remember they had the eclipse last week. I think Verlander. I think Verlander was on the battlefield when they had the first eclipse. You know what I mean? Like he was out there fighting. The next thing you know, he looks up at the sky. Everybody just put their swords down and stopped. That was Verlander. That's how long he's been pitching for, bro.
Just in time, Joe.
You know? My man, they're sitting there like, what the hell's this? I can't see. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell's this? You know?
Gotta love Justin.
Yeah. Well, Kate Upton loves him.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
So, all right. Well, so there's some of the young guys, and then looking at some of the league leaders here. Like I said, I touched on Sprout. I mean, not Sprout. Trout.
Sprout.
Yeah. Two other guys are tied with 7 homers. You got Ozuna of Atlanta and a guy, Tyler O'Neill of Boston. He's kind of a surprise.
Yes.
Don't
forget about Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah. Pitching wise, Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. He's got three wins already.
Mm-hmm.
Barrios of Toronto, 3 wins. Seth Lugo of Kansas City, 3 wins. Gallen of Arizona, 3 wins, and Corey Bradford of Texas, 3 wins. And then earned run average, Paul Blackburn of Oakland with a 0 ERA. Crawford of Boston, 0.42. Blanco of Houston, 0.86. Singer of Kansas City, 0.98. And Jordan Hicks of San Francisco with a 1.0 ERA.
Crazy.
So there's some of the early season, leaders. And then, for the Yankees, 4 guys with 6 saves. You got Clay Holmes of the Yankees, Finnegan of Washington, which Washington's actually not playing too bad. I'm looking right here. Nationals 7-9. They're off to a decent start.
They are. Yep.
So not bad for them. Ryan Helsley of St. Louis, 6 saves, and Suarez of San Diego, 6 saves. So, again,
there you go.
So it's so early. You know what I mean?
A
lot of these leaders are going to change.
Yep, I agree.
So, all right, how about we get into some of these divisions here?
Let's do it.
Sorry, I got something caught in my throat.
Take a drink, my friend. There you go.
It's Justin Verlander put a spell on me for talking shit on his
See,
dude.
you made him mad, Joe.
All right, so what do you say we start? Let's start with the American League.
Okay.
Let's go west. You know what? Let's go west to east.
West to east.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll start in Atlanta, Tupac and Suge Knight, and we'll work our way over to the land of Puffy and Biggie.
Tupac.
We'll go West Coast, East Coast. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
All right, so we got Texas Rangers 9-8. They're 4.
Actually, 9-9. 9-9.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9-9. Okay, well, I printed this out earlier today. What did they play earlier today?
I don't know, but I got 9-9 right here.
Okay, maybe they played earlier today because, I printed this at like 12:55 this afternoon.
Gotcha.
All right, so 9-9. I got the Angels at 8-8.
Mm-hmm.
Athletics 7-10. Man, I don't know. They're hanging in there.
Joe. I was thinking the same thing. The team that we buried last year on extra innings, if you remember correctly, was the Oakland A's and your Minnesota Twins, by the way. But anyway,
the Royals last year too,
and the Royals too. Third place shows it's early. I get it, but you know what? Maybe something's brewing in Oakland. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Maybe they're pulling a major league. Remember in Major League where they announced they were moving and then they started winning?
Yes. Major.
See, your Seattle Mariners 7-10.
7-10. Yeah, they don't start getting hot until like July or August. I'll give it time.
Mariners got a lot of talent on that team.
They do. They're a lot of talent.
Yep. You got and then of course we already touched on the Astros. The Astros are 6-12.
6-12. Yep. Mm-hmm.
4-6. 4-6 in their last 10. So in actuality, so they started off. They started off like 2-6.
Yeah, well, I mean, they'll pick it up. I'm not worried about the Astros. They will pick it up eventually. But the number one team in that division, Joe, is still sitting there, and the World Series champs, Texas Rangers, 9-9.
Yeah, well, and like you said, it's early, 9-9, 500. They're much better than that. The Astros are much better than that.
Definitely.
I guess in looking at this division, to me, the number one question is: are the Angels going to be in contention? Or playing decent enough, long enough to hold on to Mike Trout, or do they fall out of it? And do there start to be some Trout rumors around the All-Star break? And in particular, does a certain area of or close to where he grew up, possibly with a struggling lineup, inquire about Mr. Mike Trout?
All right, I see where you're going with this, Mr. Man over there. Talking. I see it. I hear you. No, I think the Angels are going to be. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, Joe. I really am. Okay. I think they're going to be there where they are now. I think if they keep playing what they're doing, I think they'll be right there in contention.
Well, remember,
I know Trout is not coming to Philly, Joe.
well, remember last year. Last year they were relatively in contention until around the trade deadline. They actually bought. They made a couple moves to buy, and then they totally went in the shitter the minute they bought.
Well, if you remember correctly, Joe, they were talking about giving Ohtani away last year when he was with the Angels,
yeah.
And they were that was the big rumor. Is he leaving? Is he staying? What's going on? Or him? Because Trout was injured, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But he was hurt. But and that was the big thing for the Angels. But I'm going to get, like I said, I'm going to stick with the Angels. I think they're going to surprise some teams. I really do. I'm not going to give up on them just yet.
Yeah, I mean, they just may. They just may. And like you said, man, Trout gets hurt a lot. When I think injuries, I think of this guy, Dave. I think of Jason Fine, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. You could call him, motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation. Or if you're like Mike Trout and you get hurt all the time, personal injury claims. Mike Trout don't have to call him, though, Dave. Mike Trout could wipe his ass with $100 bills. He's got so much money.
This is true.
But if one of us gets hurt, we might want to call this guy. He's got 3 office locations throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey. So one in Philadelphia, PA, one in Cherry Hill, one in Pittsburgh. So make sure you call Jason Fine if you have an injury. And any East Coast Angels fans, if you want to stay up and watch Mr. Mike Trout hit the ball long, you might want to, the next morning, if you're up late, you might want to have some coffee. Well, the best coffee out there is, what is it, Dave? What's this say?
Monkey Cold Coffee.
Yeah, you could use the promo code OOTBS Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. They got the newest flavor, honey agave, and barrel-aged honey. So
get your Monkey Cold Coffee, Joe, because a lot of those Angel fans out there be watching Mike Trout hit the long ball.
Yeah. So anyway, the American League West, not really too bad. I like you said, I know it's early, but what no matter what time of year it is, when was the last time you'd think you'd see the Astros last and the A's above the Astros? That's been a while.
Yeah, I it's blowing my mind, but it's half a game and a half.
Doesn't matter. It's still not something you're used to seeing.
This is true. I'm used to seeing the Athletics on the bottom of the list and the Astros up top. So take a picture, Joe. You may not see it in September.
I'm looking at these standings. It's almost like I saw Bigfoot.
I'm telling you, hey, things can change in a heartbeat. You know that.
Yeah. So, all right. So now we're going to move on to my favorite division, the American League Central, and like I said, I shit all over them last year.
You did.
But the Twins wound up winning the playoff series, so I had to eat a little crow there. And I'm looking right now, other than the White Sox, this division's not that bad. I mean, you got the Guardians at 11-5, 7-3 in their last 10. Then you got the red hot Kansas City Royals, 11-6, 8-2 in their last 10.
Yeah, Joe, before you go there, which is great. You know what I love? You know what I love about Kansas City? I love their uniforms. I love their uniforms. I like the blue. I'm just a fan.
They do have some cool uniforms.
They do. Their uniforms are bad. Pretty cool.
I can't look at a Royals uniform and not think of like George Brett. Remember years ago when George Brett we had the Pine Tar incident and he came out to charge the umpire.
Yep.
Every time I think of the Royals, I think of that.
I just think I like the blue with the KC on the side. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, so you got the Royals playing well. Tigers 9-7, 4-6 in the last 10. Tell you one thing about the Tigers. The Tigers have some really good young pitching.
They do.
These last few years are really sucking and having high draft picks. I think the Tigers hit on a few of these kids, and the future might be starting to look bright in some of these places.
Hey, I'm sure the city of Detroit's finally saying we finally have a baseball team in Detroit.
Maybe Eminem will start going to the Tigers games in addition to Lions games.
Possibly. Hey, he's a Detroit guy, so anything's possible.
So then you got the Minnesota Twins, 6-9, 3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah.
And then you got the Chicago White Sox, 2-14, 1-9 in their last 10. I mean,
yeah,
they're so shitty. It's almost like they got Frank Gallagher and Lip out there drinking and playing, and they're drinking playing the field.
Well, losing 5 in a row. They're 1-9 in the last 10. They're 2-14. That's just, I mean, could they turn it around? Maybe. I mean, anything's possible, but right now it doesn't look too good.
Paul Spencer says, "Oh snap! Now thanks to Joe putting Pirates in the top 10, my Pirates are going on a 25-game losing streak. Thanks, Joe."
See, he did that last year too, Paul. If you remember.
You have the Pirates in your top 10 too.
I have them at 8. I do.
Yeah, but no, it was me last year though. I remember
you jinxed them.
I had the Pirates really high.
Oh,
they deserved it.
They died in June. It was June, July. They started to fade out. So
I John Leaved them. I mushed them.
But yes, you did. But let me give kudos to Andrew McCutchen hitting his 300th home run. I know it was against the Phillies, but still it was his 300th home run.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of kudos and speaking of the Pirates, I almost forgot about this. Kudos to Paul Spencer and Out of the Box Sports because they actually have Paul actually has media credentials for the Pirates. So
that is correct. Yeah,
and hey, I may have mushed them, I may have jinxed them, but right now the Pirates, in our eyes at least, which we're not exactly experts, but looking at the standings, the Pirates are a top 10 baseball team right now. So out of the
right
box,
now they are. Well, they were top 10 last year at this point too. So.
Yeah. So.
Don't.
All right. So anyway, so we move on from the Central, which again isn't nearly as shitty as it was last year. The Guardians look good, right, so far. Some of these teams look good. To the AL East, which is
before we leave their Central real quick, Joe, I want to say something. I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm not much on predictions, but I'm going to try. I think the Minnesota Twins are going to go on a run.
Okay.
I think I'm not saying I just think. They're 3-7 right now. They lost 2 in a row. I get that, but don't count them out. They might surprise you. They might make a run somewhere around the line. I'm just going to say. I'm not saying now, but maybe in May or June. We'll see what happens. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? Maybe. Wasn't there a movie where the kid became the manager of the Twins?
Yes. Yes. I love that movie. I love it. The kid his grandfather was the owner.
Yeah.
Grandfather passed away. Gave it to the kid. Yeah. So yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, that's when they're going to make the run when the kid comes in. Now I'm just kidding.
Right.
All right. So anyway, moving on the AL East, which arguably might be the best division in baseball. You got New York Yankees, 12-5, 6-4 in their last 10. Like I said, winning despite Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is struggling right now. Soto's hitting the ball well. Soto's hitting 328, 21 hits, 64 at bats, 3 homers, 15 RBIs. So, Yankees are playing well. Got the Orioles at 10-6. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Not starting out great, but the Orioles will be there. I mean, they got so much talent. They're going to go on a run.
They will.
Toronto's a weird team. Toronto's 9-8. Toronto has a lot of good players. They have a really good lineup. As I touched on, Barrios is pitching well so far.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 9.
I love Junior though. I'm a fan.
Yeah, Vlad Jr. Yeah,
love him.
It's ironic too. Like I forget what I saw, but like something about him and his dad had like similar stats at the similar age or something like that, or it was something. I don't remember. I
believe it.
But the bottom line is, yeah, he's definitely got his old man's genes in him.
But power swing, Joe, power swing. My man can throw kid. He had bombs.
Yeah. Then you got the Tampa Bay Rays 9-8. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Rays.
Joe, are they ever going to move that stadium, or are they going to stay there for the rest? I mean, come on, that stadium is hideous. They got to do something there.
It is. It's atrocious. It's almost like watching a team play in a mall.
Right. Exactly. That's how bad it is.
Boston Red Sox 9-8. They're 4-6 in their last 10.
Mm-hmm.
Red Sox are kind of a weird team. I mean, they have some talent, but they're just, in that division.
They were like that last year too, if you remember, Joe. They were like that last year. They did the same thing. They were always, a game above 500 or in the mix. They haven't changed. They're still the same.
Yeah. So that's the standings in the AL right now. I
think it's going to be honestly, Joe. In that division, I believe it's going to come down to the Orioles and Yankees. I mean, I know that's pretty obvious to say, but I think those two are going to fight it out at the end, and it'll be interesting to see which team has over 100 wins and pulls that division out.
Or if either of them have 100 wins. I mean, because I'm looking at that division. I mean, you when you got to play Toronto. Well, actually, the whole AL. I mean, well, like as far as you got to play Texas Rain. In that division, you got to play each other. You got to play Toronto. You got to play Tampa. Even Boston's tough at times.
Yeah.
Then when you play the West, you got to play the world champion Rangers. You got to play the Astros. You know what I mean? Like Seattle's going to get hot. I mean, I can make the argument that there's so much parity in the American League that nobody wins 100 games.
Maybe 95 at the most.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see here. Foster covers. Hope everyone is well. Hey, man, thanks for checking us out.
Thank you, Foster. Appreciate it, man.
So, all right. So that's that. That's the AL.
You mean somebody's actually watching us, Joe?
Yes. A couple people. Yes. Yeah, we got.
That's good. Good to know. Good to know.
All right. So let's start off National League West.
Okay.
We got the first place Los Angeles Dodgers, 11-8. I think little, not necessarily a slow start, but not often running the way people thought. But
I thought they'd be better than 11-8 right now. I really did.
Well, you know how it is though. Guys got to get adjusted. I mean, you got Yamamoto's coming over to another country.
True.
You got Shohei Ohtani stayed in the same city, but he's gone to the Big Brother part of LA, which is the Dodgers.
He's an LA guy.
Then of course, you have the distraction of the gambling and the interpreter, like Ohtani.
Right.
To his credit, Ohtani's still putting up numbers. He's hitting 338. He's got 26 hits and 77 at bats. He's got 15 runs, 4 homers, 10 RBI. So Ohtani's still doing his thing.
Oh, did you expect anything less?
No, I didn't. And then you got Mookie Betts.
My man.
Yeah, Mookie Betts. He's got 6 home runs. You know what I mean? So Mookie Betts.
I'm a Mookie fan, Joe. I got to be honest. I like Mookie. I do.
And batting leaders, You got Will Smith, the catcher, hitting 369, and the Dodgers actually just signed Will Smith to a long-term deal. So he's another guy that's got a long-term deal, along with Mookie Betts, and you figure this Dodgers core is going to be around for a while.
Oh, they'll definitely be in at the end.
Like Mookie Betts, I feel like Mookie Betts has been around forever. But I don't think he's that old. I'm gonna look up how old he is, but let me see how old Mookie Betts is.
We do have a hot team in this division right now, Joe.
Oh yeah, and who's that?
San Diego Padres.
All right, Mookie Betts is 31.
San Diego 6-4 in their last 10. They won 2 in a row.
Yeah, Padres 10-9, and I'll tell you, a lot of people I think thought that the Padres were going to struggle after trading Juan Soto.
Oh, didn't they lose their manager too?
Yeah, exactly. I think people thought they were going to struggle after losing Juan Soto. But, the Padres have a young guy that's playing well for them, a guy by the name of Jackson Merrill.
I heard of him.
Center fielder, 16 games. He's hitting 304 in 46 plate appearances, 14 hits, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. So,
and aren't they EHing Manny too a lot too?
What's that?
Aren't they EHing Manny a lot too?
Are they DHing Manny?
No, they're EHing Manny a lot. I'm saying extra hitter.
What do you mean EH? What's EH mean?
Extra hitter, DH, EH, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I never heard of EH before. All right, so DH.
Extra hitter, DH, whatever you want to call it. That's hitter.
Oh, okay. That I don't know. I just know that.
I'm saying I think Manny's been EHing a lot or DHing a lot for them. Is what I'm saying.
You're throwing me off with that EH. I'm like, what the fuck is
Sorry,
that?
Extra hitter. Sorry.
That's okay. No, that's all right. What's it? Is that like a softball term?
That's a softball term. Yes, EH.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Yes.
Here we got a little news here. As you touched on earlier, Paul Spencer says, well, we didn't know this, but Ozzie Albies just went on the 10-day DL with a fractured toe.
Fractured toe. Yeah, I said that earlier. Yep.
So, all right. And then
thank you, Mr. Braves man.
Yeah, so going down the list here, Diamondbacks 8-9. They're 4-6 in their last 10. San Francisco Giants 7-10. They're 5-5 in their last 10. And then you got the Rockies 4-13. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Rockies blow, but they almost beat the Phillies last night.
Let's come back to that play yesterday, Joe. Was that crazy? What was your take on that?
I kind of had a feeling he might have gotten in there and been safe, but there was no conclusive camera angle to show it. And the fact he was called out, I thought they were going to stick with the call.
Okay, and I hear you. I thought he was safe too, but I have to give Realmuto credit, man. That was a great play by him to make that flip to Hoffman, was it? I think it was the pitcher.
Hoffman, yeah.
Yeah, Hoffman. Okay, so when he made that flick and Hoffman covered home, but why would you have a pitcher as a pitch runner? I didn't get that.
I didn't get it either, but maybe that's why you're 4-13.
Makes sense. You have other guys on the bench. Why waste? I don't understand. I didn't get that.
Well, shit. I mean, shitty teams make shitty decisions. You know what I'm saying?
This is true. I mean,
so let's work our way over to the National League Central. Now, the National League Central is kind of National League. I'll tell you what, National League Central could be a nip and tuck all year long. I mean, we got the personally. Now, last year I was very high on the Milwaukee Brewers, but after they traded Corbin Burns, I was kind of like, oh, maybe they'll take a step back, but. So far, Brewers off to a good start. Brewers are 10-5.
Well, they got a certain person that was a former Philly too.
Which, by the way, I'm Monday through Sunday on this, John.
Really?
The Phillies lineup, they miss Rhys Hoskins.
They do.
They miss Rhys Hoskins. Now I know Rhys Hoskins is extremely streaky. And, and the Phillies lineup can be streaky. But the one thing about Hoskins, even when he wasn't hitting, he would walk.
Mm-hmm.
Rhys would get on base. And right now, Right now you got Rojas up there, and to me, Rojas is almost an automatic out. I mean, he goes up, he might as well walk up with his fucking hat on, dude. Like, don't even
But
bother.
he is,
Like,
but Joe, he is a good center fielder. But his defense covers up for his offense.
Not enough, bro. Like, I hear what you're saying, but like for me, I'm willing to give him I'm willing to have some patience with him because of his defense. So like,
he's very good. I mean, he does check down balls, but you could give him that, Joe. Come on.
I hear you, but Pache can play good center field too. Like
True.
The bottom line is, dude, for this kid to stay up here, he's got to at least hit like 230.
I got you.
You know what I mean? If he's going to hit 198, I don't give a shit about his defense, bro. Something's got to be done because like if you look at the Phillies lineup, man, if Harper's not going or like sure, well we'll get in the Phillies in a minute.
Yeah, go.
The bottom line is though they have a streaky lineup.
No, they do. Actually, it's funny, Joe. I'm looking at the standings here, and the Cardinals kind of like won a few games, and they're kind of back in this thing.
Yeah, so we did the Brewers, then we got the Pirates 11-6. They're 5-5 in their last 10.
Right.
The Cubs 10-6, 6-4 in their last 10, and they're helped by a couple of those young kids we touched on.
Yep, that's true.
The Reds 9-7, 5-5 in their last 10.
I'm a believer in that team, Joe. I got to be honest. I think I'm a believer in Cincinnati for all of a sudden. They're not as bad as everybody thinks they are.
I like Cincinnati. Why?
I do too.
I put my balls on the table when we did the prediction show. I said I think Cincinnati can win that division.
You did say that. I remember that. Yes.
So yeah. So my stones are clanging on that prediction, bro.
Only a game and a half out, Joe. They're still in it.
Yeah. Well, it's so early,
That's true.
Then you got the Cardinals 8-9. They're 5-5 in their last 10. So
speaking of the Cardinals, I think I said this earlier in the show. If I didn't or not, Whitey Herzog, the manager for the Cardinals for years and years, has passed away at 92. I feel, he was a big St. Louis guy. I know that much. And, I mean, I think he won a world championship with them a couple of times. So could have, to the family, the Herzog family, our best wishes. Sorry to hear about a great manager like that. Sorry to hear the passing. Yeah,
the run. He was the manager of the running Redbirds.
Yes.
Back with, Vince Coleman, Ozzie Guillen. I mean, not Ozzie Guillen. Excuse me. Vince Coleman, Ozzie Smith.
Yes.
Willie McGee, Tommy Hurl, second baseman.
That team, I could go Lee Arthur Smith.
They had one power hitter that was by the name of Jack Clark.
Yes.
Jack Clark was the power hitter. Everybody else was strictly speed.
Oh, dude, it's funny. I have actually friends in St. Louis who are they've been our friends. We've known them forever. And my girlfriend Kathy's mom was the biggest Cardinal fan you ever wanted to meet. She never missed a game, and even if she was on vacation, she had I had a radio on listening to the game. I'd say Betty was like the biggest Cardinal fan you ever. She knew every player on the team, like ever. Just but no, the Cardinals back in the day were good, man. They were the team to beat.
Yeah, I still remember being a kid. One of the best, one of the most. I think this was the first World Series that I remember that I watched, and then it happened a few years later with the Braves and the Twins. Cardinals played the Twins, and the home team won every game. It went 7.
There you go.
The Twins won in 7 games, so I remember that. Yeah, I was only a little guy, you know what I mean?
Well, wasn't Danny Jackson a former Cardinal too?
Yeah, he was more of a former Red, but he was former Cardinal, former Red. I know Danny Jackson was on the 90 Reds team, and then he pitched for the Phillies in 93.
And good old Willie McGee, Joe.
Cardinals after that.
Good old Willie McGee, Joe.
Willie McGee, yeah. Willie McGee had like the longest neck in the history of mankind.
Dude, that boy was fast as all could get, but he could fly.
Yeah. He had a weird batting stance too. I remember being a kid. And sometimes, when you're playing baseball, you mess around with batting stances just for the hell of it. I used to sometimes do the Willie McGee,
And a former Philly, Joe, was with the Cardinals too, who won a championship with the Cardinals, the Braves, and the Phillies.
Lonnie Smith.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Talk
all
about
right.
being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. So and St. Louis is baseball heaven. Just ask Scott Rowland.
That is true. According to him.
Yeah. So all right. So
Tell
national.
us how you really feel about Scotty there, Joe.
You know what? I actually like Scott Rowland.
I was a fan. I was.
At the time he wanted out of here, I really couldn't fault him because we didn't. This was before Jim Thome signed, and this was before the new stadium. So things, I mean, I can understand why he was frustrated. To be honest with you.
Sure, Scott Rowland Day, Joe.
Yeah. Let's sit Scott Rowland for Scott Rowland Day. That made a lot of sense.
Yep.
Especially for a team that was bad.
Yes, it's true. Yep.
So all right. Last but certainly not least, National League East.
Mm-hmm.
We got Paul Spencer's Atlanta Braves, 10-5, 7-3 in their last 10. The Braves are
they don't lose, Joe. They don't lose.
I hate to say it, but they are such a well-run organization. They find ways to win, and it's been like that for 30 years. And
well, they have a good farm system too, Joe. If you remember.
Yep. So the Braves, but we'll see what happens with some of these injuries. Losing Strider as the year goes on, I think will hurt them. But their team is so good, they'll still win a lot of games.
And Ozzy on the 10-day.
Philadelphia Phillies are 9-8, 6-4 in their last 10. Phillies are getting great pitching. The lineup is struggling. Harper nobody's really gotten going yet. Although Trey Turner's not doing too bad. I think he's hitting about.
What's a shame about the Phillies though? Their ace, Mr. Wheeler, doesn't have a win yet.
No run support.
That is true. That is true.
But the pitching's been good, so that's encouraging.
But to me, staying with the Phillies real quick, Joe. This team does not have a closer. I've been saying that for months. Who is the closer on this team?
They do it by committee.
That doesn't work for me.
I listen. I hear you. I'm an old school guy too. I would like to see one guy be the closer, but unfortunately, Dave, I think that this is just how this team's going to be. We're going to have to like it or lump it if we're going to be Phillies fans. You know what I mean?
I got you. I mean, Alvarado just doesn't cut it for me, Joe. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But
go ahead.
I'll tell you what. Third place.
Yeah.
After a disastrous start, the New York Mets are 8-8, 7-3 in their last 10. And by the way, my man, the Bat Fry, Ken Fry, when's he on this week?
I think he's on. I want to say tomorrow at 10. Yeah.
So any baseball / Mets fans, even if you hate the Mets, make sure you check my man out because he does a great job. He gives you a lot. He breaks it down, and it's impressive too because he does the show by himself. So it's pretty. I think it's
and he does a Raiders show too, and he does a wrestling show with somebody I know, but we'll leave it there.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, you guys had the big WrestleMania a couple weeks back.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Make sure you check that. Make sure you check you guys out on the Atomic Drop.
Thank you very much.
So, now we got the Nationals 7-9, 5-5 in their last 10. Now Washington has some. We saw it in the Phillies series a couple weeks ago. I mean, first off, they have a lot of speed. I think they stole like 5 bases in one game against the Phils.
Right.
The Nationals are starting to get some young talent. I think they're still a couple years away, but as you can see, even though it's early in the year and we'll see what happens, but they started to play a little better towards the end of the year last year, and it looks like it's kind of continuing this year. So, better days ahead. Better days might be ahead for the Nationals.
I'm still not sold on the Nationals yet, but you could be right. Better days could be better for them.
Well, Well, I'm not talking about this year. I mean, I fully expect them to be like 4th or 5th place. I mean, I don't expect it this year, but I'm saying though, and it is early. The fact that they're 7-9, but I just think they are showing a little improvement. You know what I mean?
Sure, they are absolutely, and they're young. They're a young team. They're gonna take their bumps and bruises, but right now they're 7-9. That's not too bad.
Now, lastly, before we close out of here, the most disappointing team in baseball, the Miami, Florida Marlins.
Are you shocked?
3-14, 3-7 in their last 10.
Are you shocked?
I didn't think they were going to be as good as last year, but I'm shocked that they're this bad. I mean, again, it is early, but I'm shocked that they're this bad. I mean, 3-14. I mean, you're looking at a team that made the playoffs last year. I mean, I know for Marlins fans it was a rumor because the Phillies took them out right and quick. But the bottom line is they still made the playoffs, bro. And
I'm shocked. I am. I really am. I got to be honest. I'm very shocked on this. I didn't see this coming.
You know, the White Sox I kind of expected to kind of suck, but the Marlins, I thought the Marlins would be more on the line of like where a little bit below where the Nationals are. You know
who right? Exactly. I was just going to ask you who has more wins this year, the Marlins or the White Sox?
The Marlins by one. The White Sox are 2-14, and the Marlins are.
No, I meant at the end of the season, who's going to have the better record?
That's a tough one. I think the Marlins, because the Marlins still have some good young pitching. You know,
they do.
So, but anyway, all right. Well, listen, that's kind of our little look at the start of the season so far. We'll be back.
Still very early.
Yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks, and with hopefully, we'll have some more information, and there'll be some more. More time will go by. The cream will start. I think by the time we do this show again, I think we'll see a drastically different Astros record. We may even see some of these teams. Paul Spencer, apologies for saying this, but we may even see the Pirates start struggling a little bit.
We'll see.
Especially considering I just jinxed them.
Yes, you did.
So
I'm going to say I'm sticking with my Minnesota prediction. I think they're going to be better when we come back.
Okay, all right. So and you know what? And I'll predict. And I'm going to predict that Aaron Judge is hitting much better than 194, and he has at least he's got closer to 10 homers by the time we do the show again.
I'm going to say two teams. I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to turn it up, but I think I'm going to stick to my Seattle Mariners too. I think they'll turn it up a little bit too.
All right. Well, sounds good. All right. So anyway, good luck to everybody in your fantasy leagues. Good luck to every team out there except for the Braves, Mets, Nationals, and Marlins. You know what? You guys can win a couple games.
They can win a few.
Yeah, you guys blow right now. So you might have to spike your monkey's coffee. Okay?
I hope you don't have to call Attorney Big Al.
Yeah. So we'll be back in a few weeks. Dave, it's been real.
Joe, always a pleasure.
Everybody, and we'll see you soon. Later.
See ya.